Welcome to 8.8 Garage. I'm Austin, and today we're going to be working on assembling some brackets that I use on a Ford 8.8 that I've been retrofitting into the 4th gen F-body Camaro. You can see these brackets on my channel on a video of an 8.8 that I built for my car. And they were the prototype brackets. Now we've kind of refined them. Ben at Fenton Motorworks has designed these. And I'm going to walk you through assembling these because they are going to be for sale in my store and directly from him. Now these brackets are going to come unassembled, so we're going to need to sort through these to decide what is what. This right here is going to be the passenger side spring perch. We have two of these, and I believe there's one of these on each side. We're going to go to our shock mounts. Need two on each side. Passenger side, driver side. They're going to come with rectangular mounts for them. These are side dependent. We have short tabs here, long tabs here, one on each side. These two pieces here are panhard mounts. This is going to be for the driver's side. This is our panhard side of our spring perch, also driver's side. These are also panhard mounts, driver's side. These, with the nice Fenton Motorworks bracket, these are going to go on the back side of our control arm brackets. So one on each side as well. Now we're going to have these rectangles with the hole in the middle. These are our shock mounts. One on each side. Now we're to control arms. You guessed it. One on each side. You can see we have two control arm brackets here. One big one smaller one. This one with the two tabs is going to be on the passenger side. The big one is for the panhard mount. It's going to go on the driver's side. Now that we have those all sorted out, let's take these here. And we're going to start with this plate. Now if we're looking at it here, the front of the car is going to be towards me. Panhard side will be here. These things are really well designed. We have all these tabs and notches to make it easy to assemble. So because this is going to be the top, we're going to need to flip it over. I'm going to take our driver's side mount, and we can see where we have three tabs here. Goes in there. Now there is some play in these, and that's where our magnets are going to come in handy. Now because there's play in them, one thing I'll say is it's important that you kind of push these all the way in, and that way we have the slack of the notches taken all the way up. Make sure that's nice and flush in there. And this is up to you on where you decide to weld it. For me, I'm going to go ahead and weld it on the side I have the magnet, mainly because there's going to be a piece that lays across here, and it's going to be a little tougher to get to weld all this at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and tack weld it right on this side. So this is tacked up. We know it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to need four pieces. Going to need this one right here, this one right here, and then our two panhard tabs. Now we want to make our panhard tabs match because it will weld in either way, and if those holes don't match up, well, then you get the point. This is Legos here. We need this one. It's going to snap right in there. See how nice and tight that fits? Now we're going to need this piece right here. Fits perfect in there. And on here, I would try to avoid welding on this side. You can. It's not going to hurt anything. There's enough room there. But if you weld on the inside, it'll be just a little more hidden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my magnet, push that in there nice and tight. So we're starting to get that boxed in there. Now we're going to be working on this piece. You can see how it has a concave. This will go up against the tube. We need to match it with this one. So make sure that our FM reads right side up. We're going to utilize those notches, and it's going to sit just right in there. Now you'll see that Ben left a really nice 50% overlap here, and this is so your bead can sit really nice in there. It's not going to be the exact width, and that's so it welds really nice. Final piece that we're going to put together is this one right here. So we'll set it up on end, make sure our holes match for the through hole. Now this one, to use the factory bolt, will need to be resized on this. You'll need to take a step bit and make this bigger because the factory panhard bolt has that step in it. So you can see that it will not go through. The reason why it's designed like this is so if you're using a standard rod end, you can just use a 1/2-inch bolt. But if you're going to use your factory hardware, make sure that you drill this size bigger after it's assembled, of course. These are precision cut, guys, so there should not be any gaps when you're putting this together. If there are, you're going to run into problems. So you can see that actually holds in itself. That pulled just a little bit when I welded it, so we're going to tap it in. There we go. Perfect. Now technically the tube should slide right in here, but in the past I have had to kind of cut these off just a little bit. Don't fret, it's not a big deal if you have to grind this down just a little bit to make it fit. So here's a part of a tube that I pressed out of a Ford Explorer housing. You can see we're just not quite there. We're gonna have to cut that down just a little bit. It might tap on, but not a big deal. Now you're wondering what goes in these tabs right here. That is going to be one of these. I usually, you can see it sets right in there. I usually wait to weld this on kind of last, because otherwise I'm fighting these 3 concaves. And not just that, it's a lot easier to get the MIG gun in here to weld this up. So that'll be a last piece that goes on. So what we'll move on to is the backing of the control arm bracket. You can see that there's a step right here. And that's so, make sure we get our letters right. That's so, this will set down on there. There's no tabs on this, just that one notch. So when we push it on there, so when we set it on that stair, you can see that it kind of wants to go either way, but this is how it should look. About even gap all the way across. There is really no overlap on this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that magnet on there. When we got that kind of gap, we'll just tack weld it. Now here's where some of the tricky part comes. This control arm bracket right here does fit loose, and it's one of the ones I typically weld on last, but we're going to weld it on here just because we can. The trick I found with this, what I've done is I've made a bushing that is the width of the backing plate. So it's just a spacer. I'm going to take a 1/2-inch bolt, put it through the middle here. This will come on here. And then, voila. So I decided to do this one just a little bit different. I went and got a 2nd bolt. So I put the spacer in this one, just tighten this one up so it's got a nice even gap. And then when I looked at this one, you can see that this spacing's about perfect when we're looking at the height difference here. Now we're gonna go ahead and move to the passenger side. This is your spring perch. And if it were to sit like this, and this was the top, we need this piece to be right here. Find our magnet. Make sure everything is flush. And give it a couple tack welds. Next piece is going to be right here. We'll also make sure that it is as flush as we can get. We'll give it a couple tack welds. Now that those are on, I'm also going to clearance this tab just a little bit. Not a whole lot, just enough. So moving on to the shock mounts that we have, you're going to need to make an 1.5 inch spacer. This is just going to make your life a lot easier. So an 1.5 inch spacer. The other spacer that I was talking about that goes to this plate is a 2.5 inch spacer. So those 2 spacers will make your life easier. This is just some 1/2 inch tube that I'm putting that 12mm bolt through. All right. Let's get to making our shock mounts. So we need 2 of these, 1 of these plates. And as I said when we unpacked them, these tabs are very length specific. So we need to make sure that we get them the right way. So the short tab, the short distance, is going to go on the bottom. It's going to look just like that. Now you could use some of the magnets to try to hold this steady, but what we're going to do is we're going to take our bolt, push that through, spacer. The next piece, we'll screw that all together. Now our spacing is going to be correct. We'll be able to set that right on there. Now you hear that kind of snap in. Look at that. So we're going to be able to tack weld this just how it is. So that one's looking pretty good. Now we have the front here. Now this is for a factory style shock. Perfect. So there's one done. Now these aren't just made to put these together on the bench, they're also made to locate it in the correct spot on that main bracket while it's on the tube. So now let's go take these over to the axle I'm building, and we'll discuss how it goes together here. Now you can see that this axle has new tubes in it, and that's not mandatory. I'm only using this one for an example. Just because I put new tubes in one does not mean that you have to. You can actually check along on one of my other videos and you'll see that I used a used rear end out of a F-150 for this project. Now I'm not measuring any distance here, I'm only showing this for fitment reasons only. This should fit on here. There we go. And it's a tight fit. You can see that they kind of just get stuck on there. So when you're setting your degrees, so when you're setting your brackets, which typically I set them at about -2 compared to the pinion angle, you can see how nice of a fit that is throughout there. Both sides, a nice tight fit around that tube. So I went ahead and pulled the bracket back off and tack welded that. And with this revision that he did, this definitely has to go on prior. But now I'm going to show you why this goes on separately. It locates by that first hole. So we're going to go ahead, stick our bolt back through our shock mount with the spacer. We'll go right through there. We'll tighten our nut. And like so, you'll be able to weld this piece on after you've located your main bracket. Now coming over to the passenger side, you can see that I put my 2 bolts through here. Now this bolt is not squeezing the bracket together, it's just loosely on that to hold that spacing. This one is tight, but you can still shift this a little bit side to side even though it's tight. There are no locating tabs on the passenger side bracket. So what we're going to do to make sure that this is all lined up, we're going to go ahead and put it on here. Just like that. You can see the contour lines it up. From there, we're going to be able to take our top piece, and when we put this piece on, it's going to be slid up a little bit. And if you're wondering why, your kit's going to come with these pieces, and these are more of a aesthetic piece, but they'll slide right into here. They are actually 2.5 inches as well, so they'll work just as a spacer on this lower side if you wanted them to. And I think there might be a 1/2 inch overlap up there, I'm not sure. That's how we fit. You can see it's the width here. So let's tack weld these. And lastly, you will assemble another shock bracket and locate it on here for your final assembly. So now we have this tack welded up, it should pull off like so. To finish these off, we need a spring locator. Now you might notice these 3 little holes in here. These are locators for where we're going to put our spring locator. So we're going to need some 2 3/8 OD pipe. You'll cut your desired height for your spring locator. I usually do about 2 inches. What you'll do with that pipe is you'll center it, and then when you can see all 3 little holes on that pipe going around there, you have located your pipe center to where it needs to be. Then you'll just take it and you'll weld it around. Really try to keep this bead hot and small. That way your spring still locates nicely on it. Give you an idea, here's a 9 inch that I have here that also has been welded. This is the same size pipe. It's like 2 inch ID, 2 3/8 OD. And they've welded this hot, and they actually have taken a grinder down to smooth this around so the spring sits on it nicely. The last thing I want to talk about that actually comes in the kit are these tabs right here, and you might be wondering what they are for. These are actually shock relocation brackets. So if you're running coilover shocks, these are a must. So what we do, see this has a slot in here? That is a bending point. So you're going to put it into a vise up to this point right here and then tap it over. Lines up just like that. And then we'll just give it a couple taps here. It might be too much, a little too much, so we'll take a little bit out of it. So it's going to fit just like that. Now once you have that bent there, and of course this theoretically would be already welded, but this will go here, holes will match up, and then we have our locating tabs here to make them go in just like so. So after you weld them, they'll look just like this. and that'll have that spot for your coilover to go. You can then either bolt it here or weld them on. So there you go. That is how to assemble the FM 3rd and 4th gen F-body spring perches and lower control arm brackets. I would really recommend just tack welding like this, fitting them on your rear end, making sure everything's where it needs to be for your spacing, and then welding them while they're on the rear end. That way you kind of prevent them from pulling or warping, and they're right where they need to be. 2026 pricing on these is currently $350 plus shipping, and that's actually a pretty solid value versus what you'd be getting if you were to cut your factory brackets off, grind them to fit, have all that time in them. You're still not going to have your adjustable lower control arm brackets or your shock relocation brackets. If you think of that, right now, lower control arm adjustable brackets, if you added them to your stock mounts, those are about $100 to $125. And the shock relocation brackets to run coilovers or aftermarket single adjustable or double adjustable shocks are another $100. So for me, I run single adjustable QA1s and I have to have the relocation brackets. And also the car's lowered, so I needed to be able to adjust my lower control arms to have the right angle. So for the value that's available there, it just made the most sense for me to use these rather than stock brackets. So I'm gonna put these in my store. You can also message Ben at Fenton Motorworks on Facebook. And if you have any questions, just comment below, and if I can't answer it, I'll get the answer for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.